Welcome back to Dirty 20, everybody. Today we take a look at the badass double scimitar wielding, pet Black Panther having Drow Ranger in the Forgotten Realms, Dritz Durden. Let's get on with the show. For those of you that might be unaware of this legendary character, Drizzt is kind of your archetypal, super edgy, way too cool for school kind of character. Seriously though, if you look at a lot of his artwork, and there's a lot of it around, you're kind of immediately taken by, you know, a dark elf, drow, with the shock white hair, the two swords, and often pictured with, like I say, his companion, a Black Panther that lives on the astral plane, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Now, I think that particularly for this character, Drizzt, who has been in a lot of novels, I think that exploration of his background kind of makes his edgelordness a little bit understandable, at least to the point where you feel like he's earned being the kind of lone wolf type character. He's been a massively popular character for over 30 years, and I would probably say that he's R.A. Salvatore's most popular character. I first encountered him through the Dark Elf trilogy, which is his kind of origin story. He appeared in the Icewind Dale trilogy, which is where he kind of first became famous as the male drow from the north in the kind of winter of the north. He's very interesting for a couple of reasons. I think first of all, you look at him as a exact opposite of what Drow society is presented as in the Forgotten Realms. So where the Drow society is just dominated by violence and war and selfishness, all of these things, Drizzt is actually a paragon of like friendship and peace and kind of classic, you know, fantasy good guy values. And so that in and of itself makes him interesting, right? Because he comes from this, people, and he goes against it. But like I say, he's gone through a lot of things, and I recommend you reading the Dark Elf trilogy. It's really, really good. Again, you look at Drow society and, they worship Lolth, their spider goddess, who is a goddess of chaos. And so, creating chaos is kind of what she wants. Now, ironically, because Drizzt is rejecting Drow society, he is actually creating a lot of chaos. So some people argue that perhaps he is Lolth's greatest agent for the Drow. Now, as much as I do really like Drizzt, I haven't used him in any of my campaigns, and I'm going to explain why. Stick with me. Now, I understand that fantasy games will always make massive generalizations about groups of people. It's a staple of the genre, right? All orcs are this, all elves are that, right? But for me, that's always been a bit of a problem. I like nuance. And because Drizzt represents the exact opposite of Drow society, he's kind of the exception that proves the rule, if you get what I mean. So up until now, I haven't really felt like I wanted to introduce him. However, in my homebrew city of Brywick, something is happening with the Drow. More and more are questioning the ways of Lolth, and I think this sets up the right kind of environment to introduce a character like Drizzt, right? So that my characters who are in the city of Briarwick will have to deal with the Drow renegade, right? Who is now being thrust into an almost messianic spotlight. And that to me is really interesting, because how does he deal with it, right? How can the PCs potentially help him or stop him from, destabilizing the city, because it has the potential of doing that, right? So it brings up lots of interesting narrative threads that make his introduction. Now that I have set up what is going on with the Drow in the city, now it feels like a good moment to do it. Now, in terms of using him in your campaigns, aside from, the role-playing elements and things like that, we do not have, unlike with Jarlaxle and the Xanathar, we do not have a stat block in an official released book. However, the awesome Chris Perkins, who has DM'd in the past for Penny Arcade's Acquisitions Inc., he played Drizzt as an NPC in one of their live plays, and he very kindly put out a stat block along with his equipment. And let's take a quick look at that. Okay, so we take a look at Dritz Durden, who is a level 8 fighter. Has to do more with the fact that the Acquisitions Inc. guys were level 8 at the time. So you could very well, if you wanted to, kind of level him up, which would make things quite interesting. But he is not necessarily that spectacular stat-wise. I think his attack routines look really quite fun. So he's got, as his main action, Icing Death plus 10 to hit, 1d6 plus 7 slashing, plus 1d6 cold, so that's 2d6 plus 7, not bad. Then his bonus action, using Twinkle, which is his other magical scimitar, plus 7 to hit, 1d6 slashing, damage, hit or miss. Drizzt gains a +3 bonus to his AC until the start of his next turn. So that's kind of cool, right? Whenever he uses Twinkle, which is a great name for a magical sword, he gains +3 to his AC. And that takes him to an AC of 16, 17, 20 after using Twinkle. So that's pretty cool. Then he's also got his bow, Tulmaril. But let's have a quick look at his magical items, because these are, pretty cool. So you've got his cloak, you've got Icing Death and Twinkle, which are his scimitars. Tulmaril, which is a +3 longbow. Comes with a special quiver which produces endless supply of silvered arrows that transform into streaks of silver light that deal piercing damage on impact. That's pretty cool. But really, the star of the show is Guinevere, the wondrous item. Guinevere is a unique panther figurine of wondrous power carved from a single piece of onyx. If Drizzt uses an action to speak the command word and throws the figurine to a point on the ground within 60 feet of him, the figurine becomes a giant panther, and you use the saber-tooth tiger stats. And, she's friendly, she lasts for 12 hours, and she can't be called again after until 24 hours goes by. I mean, he just looks like a lot of fun to play with. His, two magical scimitars are awesome. And Guinevere is just a really iconic, you look at the images and it's just a really cool concept. So again, really fun, I think, to use him in combat. And I also love the fact that you kind of summon her like a Pokemon, which is funny. But yeah, I think that he's a great character that you can inject into your campaign, whether as an ally, like I'm going to be trying to use in my Briarwick City campaign, or perhaps as a character that your PCs come across in the Underdark, like they did in Acquisitions Inc. there we have it on this Characters of the Forgotten Realms. Let us know what you thought about Dritz Durden. Also, please let us know if there are any particular characters that you would like us to do in this series. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, share this around with your friends, and as always, keep slaying. If you've enjoyed this content, then please smash that like button, subscribe, share this around online, and come and visit our website, www.lavictoriaproductions.com, to see all our past episodes, as well as our blog posts and all the stuff that we're currently working on at La Victoria Productions. Why not reach out to us and tell us what you think of our videos? You can reach us on Twitter. @MouthLaVictoria is our producer. We are also on Instagram. I am Enano LVP, and our producer is Jazzy J Cherot. We're also La Victoria Productions on Facebook and LinkedIn. Come on by and let us know what you think.